You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This isn't a blood hole. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network. That is a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects that all of us, including Peter R. Vera, love to frolic about in our free time. Batman Book Club is also on Patreon, so if you like what's going on with the show and you want to help support the show, keep the generators running in the Wayne Manor study, go to patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Now, thank you for listening to episode 245, 24/7. My guest for this show, he's no stranger to these here parts. You know him, you love him, you have a good time with him. He helped me come up with the last line on my outro of the show. It's the one and only Jay Yaws. Jay, hello, welcome back for your 15th appearance. Something, we're getting there. I don't know. You're up there a lot.
Something like that. I don't know. You know, we should have held off on this if this is episode 245
It is.
and the name of the story is 24/7. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect.
Dang
But
it.
it's okay.
That's true.
It's okay.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just post this here and then I'll just repost it in
There you
2
go.
episodes.
There you go.
Thank you for listening to episode 247, 24/7. My guest, Jay Yaws. And I think we're going to try to say the same things we said 2 episodes ago. You know, I haven't asked this in a while and I'm going to broaden it a little bit more, but I thought, you know, sometimes I don't flat out just reach out to you all the time and ask. So I just want to pick your brain right now, Jay. What have you been reading lately? It doesn't even have to be specifically what Batman have you been reading. Just what have you been reading lately?
Well, good, because I have not been reading a lot of Batman.
Sinner, that was a trap. You're off the show. Maybe in 2 episodes, you'll have a better answer.
I mean that was, I think that was my answer the last time I was on too, which what was that, earlier this year?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
I can picture
I mean,
sitting here talking to you, and I am blanking on which story that was.
You know, me too. It's fine.
By the end of this episode, I'll Google it and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
We'll figure it out. But no, I mean, Batman related. I like Dark Patterns. That's a really good book. That might be my favorite, you know, just Batman title right now. Like by a wide margin, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly haven't read Detective or Batman like regularly in a while. I mean, it hasn't enticed me back, and I hate to say that. Maybe it makes me a bad fan, but I don't really care because, you know, I have better things to do than read comics that I'm not enjoying. So,
Oh, that's true.
so
I was getting nervous there for a second. I'm glad you added that
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
enjoying.
that I'm not enjoying. But yeah, Dark Patterns is really good. I like Batman and Robin Year One. That's
Thank you.
pretty good
Okay.
too.
That's
That
what I
one's
was
pretty
gonna.
good too.
That's what I was gonna ask. Was like, oh man, Jay, you're reading that. I hope because that.
And I mean, the last Halloween, I'm not loving it, but you know,
Okay.
I'm reading it because, you know, gotta complete the set there.
I
And
understand.
even though I'm not loving it, though, I will say that it was Becky Cloonan
Mm-hmm.
illustrated the most recent issue. Honestly, I kind of wish she had just been the penciler the entire time, because I mean, nothing against everybody else who has been on there, like, you know, Sinkovich and was oh gosh, I can't even remember anymore. Was Francovelli on there?
He was not.
Okay.
Chiarello, Sinkovich. I never know. That was my least favorite issue. Man,
And I mean, I know Chris Samney is the next issue.
He's next.
And I love Chris Samney. So, I mean, he has a style kind of similar to Becky Cloonan's, but that's what I liked was Becky Cloonan's felt close enough in spirit to Tim Sale without feeling like, they're trying to just ape Tim Sale, which I don't
Yeah.
think anybody who's actually been, these, rotating pencilers have been doing that by
Yeah.
any means. But I mean, and I get why they wanted to, bring in a bunch of different artists just to pay tribute to Sale. And, I think that's great too. But some of that consistency would have been nice. And, Cloonan has been my favorite visual aesthetic for the Long Halloween, Last Halloween, whatever it's called. Last Halloween.
They could have just kept it the
Batman,
last Halloween.
the Long Halloween, the last Halloween.
When you get two colons in a title, it's like, what are we doing?
Go
What are we
back
doing
to the
here?
drawing board, guys.
It's a bugaboo of mine. It really is. And I understand they're trying to do whole marketing, blah, blah, blah. It's like people who are freaking reading comics know Dark Victory is a sequel to The Long Halloween.
It's not
Don't
called
need the Long Halloween
Batman, the Long Halloween, Dark Victory. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the point I was about to make.
Batman, the Long
but no,
Halloween, Dark Victory sequel, The Last Halloween.
Gosh. But anyway, I really liked her style. And I mean, I love, Sam Nees as well. So, hopefully, get some more of that goodness.
Yeah.
Gosh, what? September, October.
Yeah. August is off too. So I think there was 2 months off an issue and then another month off. And then it's slated now, September, October. So
yeah. So
do you think, since you mentioned Becky Cloonan, that she had, like I mentioned to Pete, that especially in Gilda's face and then in Grundy's face, looked very much like, man, this is like the most Tim Sale I've seen of anybody's.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, she has a style that is complementing it very well. So I'm sure in some of those, maybe some of the figures, maybe even some of the panel, the way she's laying out her panels, placing figures in panels, doing her, double page spreads, splash pages, whatever. I'm wondering if maybe there is, some of that in her mind of, okay, since this is, continuing Tim Sale's work, gonna throw in some of that, seasoning there while still keeping her own unique style.
Yeah. It's funny because I think I say to people of like, I'm Batman's biggest fan and also harshest critic.
Yeah.
So just because Batman is slapped on something doesn't mean it gets an automatic A plus for me. I obviously love The Long Halloween. That's for you, Paul Herman. And so when I just thought once sale passed, because I really felt that original special from 2022 or 21, it's 21. That was like, man, I just feel like there's more. I feel like there's more. And then he passed, and I was like, there isn't. Book's closed. Without sale, you're done. And so they announced it, and I was like, of course I'm excited by it because Jeff Loeb's writing. But man, I don't know. Then this idea of a different artist every month, comics for me are so, even if like reading monthlies and there's an arc and what, this artist is substituting this issue this month and we're back to the other. It's always like, like my OCD mind's like, it looks different. So it's different. And so with this was very much of like, I really like it. I really like the story. I'm gonna do a full reread before the next issue comes out. But it's just missing the Tim Sale and even the just consistent look throughout.
Right.
It is one thing for me that's like it's not an anthology, which is where I feel like you can have a different one each month. Instead, it's supposed to be telling one story, but it's like name the Batman. The Batman was broken up and had 5 different directors directing the 2 hour and 45-minute movie. It's like, you can have the same writer, but it's a different director.
Yeah.
So that I'm with you of like, I do think she's got the most Sale, like not, and like you said, also not trying to mimic and copy, but just a lot of her stuff was like, man, this is, if this would have been the whole thing.
It's complementing the story really well.
Exactly.
I said,
Absolutely.
her style complements Sale's like legacy and like his style that we're used to, but it's also complementing the story because I mean, some of the issues, the story I'm honestly not huge on either, just because I don't think it's as compelling as it needs to be to honestly care. I care because it's a Long Halloween sequel. I
Mhm.
love The Long Halloween. I love Dark Victory. I love, even like Haunted Night and,
Yeah.
Catwoman, the When in Rome. And I liked that special from a couple of years ago too. So it's like, okay, if we're going to return to this, I won't say no. I won't be upset
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But the thing that's bringing me back to it is what it is and not what it's doing.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's a thing that, yes, you can measure and compare and contrast and all that, but instead it's like, how about you're reading this and this is a, I mean, 10 issue, but then the special was double size, so a 12, in a sense, a 12 issue story. Just this is what it is. Just read it
Yeah.
as is, and it's like I am enjoying it, and I do look forward to each issue that does come out. And there's only two more chapters, and then this. I mean, it's still Batman, but it's like this little section of the history is done. Book's closed for good. So that's something to at least be like, okay, I'll shed a tear. I'll pour one out. Pour one out for you. This is for you, Tim Sale. R.I.P. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. You and I, you know what? I'll reach out to you and we can talk after we read the finale and be like,
Yeah.
Jay, do you care now? No.
That's the thing too, is I wonder, because I read, The Long Halloween, I read that
Mhm.
collected, I read Dark Victory collected,
Yeah.
I read all that collected. So I wonder if
Absolutely. Yes.
reading it all in one go will change my tune.
Yep.
I think you hinted at that in your most recent
Mhm.
the Batman comics in July. I think you said something to that effect.
Maybe with that as well as like 89 Echoes. Pete and I couldn't even, we said like we're just gonna say that like there's no grade here because
Yeah.
there's just too big of gaps that like I to be fair, I need to read it collected.
Right. Exactly.
And the same thing I'd say out the gate, and then we can get to the issue at hand for this episode. But like Hush 2, it was just like almost like that first issue is just I saw positives, but I usually navigate pretty well to avoid, what a lot of people unfortunately do see on X/Twitter.
Right.
I navigate pretty well somehow, and I'm glad. But for that issue, a lot of stuff was sneaking in and just, hyperbole of the first, review, like this is such a crappy sequel to blah 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 and all that. And I'm like, well, a few things. This is chapter 1 of 12. Also, most likely, everybody that I'm seeing complain read Hush when it was collected. There was
Yeah.
no wait. You read everything in one sitting. You didn't have to go month by month. Uh, and I don't think you can expect 12 issue stories worth of stuff in a 22 page comic book. That's like just let's just set our expectations here. If
Yeah.
you get 4 issues in, which I think Pete said to me long ago in the wrap ups on stuff of like he'll give something like 3 issues, and if by that point it hasn't done it, then he's like, okay, I think I'm out. And I'm like, I think
Sure.
that's a good
That-
trial.
that's pretty healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, 60 plus
that's a healthy
pages.
mindset.
That's a good trial. So for anybody who's read the first, even the because 4 issues of Hush 2 have come out at this point, and they're like, it's just not doing it for me. There's a whole like presentation of your criticisms where it's like keep scrolling or like I read digest and I can talk to you even if we see differently because
Yeah.
and I'm 4 issues and I don't really like this. Like, okay, fair. That's fair. But this is the crappiest story since Digital Justice. It's like, I don't think so. I can't think that you're serious. But anyways.
Good old Hattush.
Yes. Hattush. Wait, was it Hashtua? I think that's what I said with Haas was Hashtua, like somebody's sneezing. Okay. Well, enough about the current. Let's go in the past, shall we? Let's get back.
Let's do it. Which is funny because we just talked about 2 sequels to, 25-year-old comic books.
Yeah, somehow that's really trippy. It's like the Wayne's World. All right, let's talk Gotham Knights number 32, also known as 24/7. released in 2002, written by Devin Grayson with art by Roger Robinson, part of the Gotham Knights title, as I've said, issue number 32, which was released, is available physically, it's available digital, it's available on DC Universe Infinite. It's also available in Bruce Wayne Fugitive, the trade paperback, I think. There's an omnibus that combines Murderer Fugitive. It's also available in that. And in Batman, The Greatest Stories Ever Told, Volume 1, which that one has me scratching my head. I saw that online, and I'm like, I think that was like 1989, but maybe there's a different kind of version or something that it's included in that
Yeah,
came out a lot later. I
I
don't
didn't
know.
know about that one.
Yeah, that's a little. I need to look that one up. Um, so yeah, out of all of those, which version did you read for this episode?
The floppy, which
You got the floppy.
I do have the floppy.
Nice, excellent. Does it smell like a floppy? You're
It
hearing it,
does.
folks. I see it, but we're all hearing it.
You hear
Jay
that?
inhaled that comment. That's right.
Got
You can
that.
hear it.
Got
Yeah,
that.
there it
Got
is.
that. Got that.
That's great.
Oh yeah. Make that your
Um,
ringtone.
yes, please. The Yaws ringtone is just. Uh, I went digital on this on the old DC Universe Infinite app. Nice crystal clear, pretty images. Um, we'll get to the physical talk here soon. Do you remember when you first read this issue?
Yes. In fact, hang on. I reviewed this on my own blog
Yeah, you did.
last year, June 6, 2024. So I typically put like a 2 to 3 month lead on those. So
Mm-hmm.
I probably read this for the first time back in maybe March or March or April of 2024.
Ooh, okay. So this is fairly
It
recent.
is, yeah, it's fairly recent, yeah. I mean,
I
it's something that I've been familiar with for a while because it has a pretty, famous
Oh,
cover.
yeah, we're gonna talk about
We'll
that
get
for
we'll get into it.
sure.
We'll get
Yep.
into
Oh yeah. That's actually the first talking point after these few opening questions here. It's funny to say we've been talking what like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, opening questions. We're still at the beginning of our episode. Um, I read this once I got the DC. Let's see, it was a little bit into the DC Universe app. So I don't remember what year that launched. And then it was probably like a year or two after it launched that I got into the app and skimming around. And because of the cover that we're going to talk about in like 3 minutes, that's where I was like, oh my gosh, this one. And I read it then. And then like I told you when we talked about this episode, even what we were going to do was for the love of me, I know the cover, as does everyone, and I totally forget what happens inside this. And I probably read it. This is my third time reading it. And I went into this completely blank on it.
it.
We'll get into those specifics as well. Now, uh, the biggest question, why 24/7?
A couple of reasons. It's a standalone story, so it's a nice one and done issue. And
Thank
I
you.
figured, I was about to say, I figure it would have been, a nice blessing where we wouldn't have to do a whole lot of homework for this. Um,
Love the big
and
stories. I do. I've had months where I think I did 3 episodes, and when Pete and I were in the thick of when there was like 20 to 30 comics to read for the
57
wrap up.
Batman comics.
Yeah, and then it was like an 8 issue series was an episode, a 12 issue series was an episode, a 12 issues, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm reading so many comics. It's fine, not complaining, good problem to have. But then you mix in one of these like, oh, this is a 21-page story. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, thank you. I read it
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah. So I mean, brevity, of course.
Yeah.
And it's a good story too. It's a good issue. It's I mean, we'll get into it a little bit because like I said, I reviewed it a year ago on my own blog, Comic Pause, and with a series that I did for a while. And it's not perfect. There are a couple of things that I'm not crazy about with it, but it is a really good thesis statement on Batman and Bruce Wayne and their relationship with Gotham, his life as Batman, his life as Bruce Wayne, and um and just a really good, hey, you want to see what both Batman and Bruce do to help Gotham, read this.
Mhm.
It's a really good example of both sides of his life trying to save, his city.
Mm. Mm. Good answer.
Plus another thing that we'll get into it in a little bit that actually made me want to read this issue to begin with, but we'll
Okay.
get there. We'll get there.
Excellent. Good stuff. We're going to hit pause on this program for two announcements. One, let's go back to Jay, the last time you were on this. I thought you were on earlier this year. No, it was the end of last year, episode
Oh.
218 from November, Batman 66, the lost episode.
Oh yes, okay.
Like I
I thought it
knew,
was something 66-ish, but I can remember what
yeah,
it
and
was.
but man, I could have swore that you were back on in February, but nope, it
Yeah.
was last year. So it's almost been a year. A year ago. It will not be a year when you're on this next if you accept the invite. We've already talked
Of
about that.
course.
There's your tease. Secondly, Batman: The Greatest Stories Ever Told, Volume One, released in 2005, and it's got an Alex Ross cover where it's a white background, black suited Batman, and he's kind of up close and crossing his arms. So I don't like. Maybe the previous ones was like the greatest Batman stories ever told, and this is Batman colon the greatest stories ever told. I don't know, but I'm looking at it, and yeah, it most definitely includes a lot of older stories, and then Legends of the Dark Knight number 79, Favorite Things from January 1996, and Gotham Knights 24/7 from October 2002. So like out of nowhere, tacked at the very end are two you know, quote unquote newer
Yeah.
stories in that trade collection. So
Huh,
there
that's
we go.
wild.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. And
Because
is
I
this?
can I can visualize those greatest Batman stories
Yep.
ever told, covers or whatever they were
Uh-huh.
called. I don't know if I'm familiar with this one, so
Okay.
probably
Well,
need to look into that.
we're probably both gonna have to go to eBay
Yeah.
because this says notes. This trade paperback has an introduction by Les Daniels with the title "Nobody Knows Who Batman Is." I'm a sucker for the extras, so
Oh
even
yeah.
just a written intro, I'm like, I gotta find this and own it. And this trade paperback also contains a poster by celebrated Batman artist Dick Sprang from Detective Comics number
Ooh.
572. Yep, I'm looking this up. Watch, there's one available on eBay. Who will get it first, Ryan or Jay? Stay tuned. All right, back to our regular scheduled programming. We've already referenced the cover to this, and we have to talk about that first because Jay, I'd say for comic book readers, this is one of the most recognized slash popular Batman comic book covers ever. Would you agree?
I would agree
It's
because
up there. I would not claim it is the number one,
no,
but it's in the
but
discussion of top 10, top 15. People know it.
because when I went looking for this issue and I saw the cover is what it is, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, it's that issue.
it's that one.
Yeah,
It's
it's
I mean, it's great, and I'll describe it, but anybody listening, they probably like I already posted on the social media stuff about episodes coming this month. I will have teased it and everything. You know the one that we're talking about, but it's the grandfather clock, with Bruce Wayne on the left side with his back against it, and then on the right side is Batman with his back against it from artists you may have recognized, Brian Bolland. I am surprised looking at this with, through a nerd lens here, that the clock is midnight. I
mhm.
would have thought that it would be set at, 10:46 or, picked one of the common times.
I was literally just thinking that. I was like,
Yeah.
it didn't occur to me until we were,
Yeah.
looking at the cover right now. But it's like, it's at midnight. I would have liked a little something, a little more fun. But I mean, it's still, a great cover. Maybe Boland did that just to keep things a little symmetrical. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great cover. Fun story.
Hmm.
I'm almost positive I have that grandfather clock.
Really?
Yeah, I guess they were like, some either like a really popular line way back in
Yeah.
the day. We've had it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was told that my great grandfather built it. Maybe he did, but I've seen this exact grandfather clock like in movies and everything. So I'm wondering if maybe it came as like a kit that you could, you know, assemble yourself.
He sold them. He sold them around, you know?
Yeah, so yeah, like with the sun and moon dial at the top with the everything, and I mean the I don't know, the architecture of it or whatever, you know.
It's so
Yeah, I
classic
have
looking.
it is. And yeah, it's downstairs, doesn't work anymore, but you know,
Ah,
it's a piece of family history that I have.
sounds like you need to go get a large Bruce Wayne figure and a large Batman figure and have them just lean up against it on both sides for decoration.
Sounds like I do.
All right. Challenge accepted. We had it was on the wall, but we had you'd think of like a grandfather clock, but like on the wall, clearly not that size, like big, but not as big as that. And that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
such a comforting sound, in growing up was the sound of that one and when it would chime and then the back and
oh
forth
yeah,
and
the
stuff
chimes,
was
yeah.
not the annoying tick tock like
No,
in
no, no,
movies
no.
that you see of anything. It's like something that was just a little soothing about it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, great cover, awesome cover. I don't know what the hell happens inside of this book, but I love it. Uh, Opening up to the first page. So yeah, again, it was me 24/7. Okay. This I quickly did. I was leaning one way with what this story was post big event. And I thought it was post No Man's Land because in this issue they dedicate a statue to No Man's Land, do a great quote about No Man's Land. And then it was like a little bit of a like I kind of stopped and was scratching my head a little bit. I'm like, it seems like no, No Man's Land would have ended a little while before this even. And so then my mind just went to the Google machine and looked and I'm like, this immediately follows Bruce Wayne Fugitive. Immediately, like Gotham Knights number 31 was one of the final chapters of that storyline.
So this is almost like a coda for Bruce Wayne Fugitive or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's included in that stuff as kind of an epilogue kind of issue. Uh, and I was like, okay, well that explains a few of the line references and stuff like that. But overall, I think this is a Bruce Wayne slash Batman status quo issue.
Yes.
Anybody can jump in, grab this issue, and whether you've been reading nonstop for years or this is your first one back, it's like there's a familiarity to this issue of just like this is as it should be. Which is I know
Yes.
what like Pete and I had a problem with a lot of monthly titles for quite a while was like, can we just get Batman back to Batman? Like that's all we
Yes.
need. And that's what this issue is as a whole. Not, you can take it from here on how specific you want to get or like broad thoughts or something, but that's just where by the end of the issue was just like a comforting of this like reading this issue because that's just what it feels like. Is like this is Batman that we know.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what I was saying. It's a good primer on Batman and Bruce Wayne. It's just a good character study.
Yes. Ooh, I left that part out. A good character study, like absolutely. And I think I think I did it on one of the BOF podcasts with Bill, and we were talking about how great Christian Bale was at doing the public Bruce Wayne performance. Like exceptional, great. I used to laugh more at like awkward comedy.
Mhm.
Now I start to feel more uncomfortable, I guess,
Yeah.
because I'm turning into an old man. So, especially at the end of Begins, as he's putting on that performance and everything like that. And I'm almost like hiding under a blanket now because I'm like, you people don't understand what he's doing for you, so
Hold
that
on, I'm not finished. I still
yeah,
laugh at that line.
yeah. I mean,
That's funny.
oh, no.
But yeah, I totally get it.
Stop smiling. Like that's the one that gets me each time. But yeah, I do. I'm like, so I love that this issue is very much like this feels like BTAS public Bruce Wayne.
Hmm.
I think that BTAS at sometimes you hear of the the Playboy antics and stuff, and I don't really believe him in that series because I think we see good public Bruce Wayne for pretty much that whole series, and I just feel like this is that version.
For sure, yeah, because in BTAS, he would have girls every now and then. He would be a little bit of a clumsy doof, but I mean, he also presented himself as very capable, very
Yeah,
interested, very philanthropic, someone who isn't the typical stereotypical billionaire,
yeah.
aloof jerk billionaire. He is someone who, may have a lot of money and he may be a little quirky and eccentric, but he does care.
Yep. Yeah, he'd be very passionate publicly against the bad people. I
Mm-hmm.
think of even in Mask of the Phantasm, I'm blanking on his name, and he's like, is it Arthur? And he's like, I've got something for you, and I'll tell you where you can stick it or something like
Yeah.
it. That's in front of people. That's like very genuine and stuff. And so yeah, it's hard to feel like his perception in that series is the public perception in Begins and The Dark Knight and stuff. And here, like there's absolutely none of that. We're getting, and it is 24/7 because you just get a 24-hour cycle of a day in the life of Bruce Wayne. And it's like kicking off at, Wayne Enterprises, Wayne Tech more specifically, and he's in a meeting room, and he's talk like supporting why, if you weren't questioning the things, I wouldn't have hired you. And then he's moving along through his day for another person of just like, you need good PR points. Somebody's questioning his lunch bill, and then you get a picture of it, and he's taking elderly folks out for very expensive lunch
Mm-hmm.
because, like, just because that's Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne. And it's like because I didn't remember anything about this issue, like I was like, well, we're gonna get to Batman eventually, right? Like, oh, this is cool, but we're gonna get there, right? And halfway through, which of course, because in 24 hours, half of that he's Batman, half of it's Bruce Wayne. So, oh, Ryan, oh, Ryan, patience.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I love about it is it's almost like an answer to that tired, annoying. If Bruce Wayne really wanted to help, he'd
Yeah.
spend his money on
Oh
Gotham.
my gosh.
Well, this shows that he does
He
because
always has.
like you said, he buys meals for homeless people. He offers jobs to people who, maybe used to be on the wrong side of the law, but have since reformed
Yes.
but nobody wants to hire them. He gives them a second chance because from a standpoint as Batman, that's what he's all about is rehabilitation and making things better.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And he does that with I mean, as Batman for, oh man, what's his name? Mickey at the accounting firm. And like how the guy had even said of like, I was busted. I was gonna, robbing a place and I got busted by Batman. And he just tells me, you can do better, Mickey. And he's like, Batman, he knows my name. He knows me. And that made me think like I can do better. And so before I even got to jail, I was on the path to, redemption and all of that. And it's like this is just these are really good ways to re-emphasize the impact of to glorify the heroism of Bruce Wayne and Batman in both
Yeah.
ways, and not just in the like cool ways that a lot of us like. A Batman is very intimidating, it's scary, and he's beating the hell out of the bad guys. But it's like, no, look at this. He stopped a robber, but you can do better. Make 5 words, and
Yeah.
it's like, look at the impact,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so let's see. I'm flipping through here quick because we just go through.
And I mean that's the thing is it's like you said, it's 24 hours in the life of Bruce Wayne, and each page takes place at some point in a specific like hour block.
Yeah.
So it starts at what like 8:17 a.m. The next page is 9:03. Next page is 10:22. The page with Mickey is 11:14. So it is going throughout the day. So it's almost like a collection of short stories. It's just they're all tying together as the events that happened in one day in the life of Bruce.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the show 24 with Bruce Wayne, and it's called 24/7. I particularly liked the elevator with Kobe. Actually, it's Cody. And just like the dude just gets across about like got accepted to Gotham U, and um, but then you don't get it presented to you that he's like, oh, wah, wah. It's probably gonna have to go like can't afford full time anyway. And Bruce just hears that and hey, here's our scholarship program. Full tuition? Yeah, you just gotta work for me and you can get it. Thanks. Just send me a postcard before graduation. Like that is I I don't want to know the people who don't enjoy that stuff of
Yeah, yeah.
genuine people like seriously in a sense like just good things happening to good people at the snap of a finger. And it's like in here you see that presented and it's just like, man, I couldn't imagine if I was in those shoes of like, hey, before you start college, your college is paid for. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
What
I
do you
mean,
want? What can I
and I
do?
mean, they're the only two in there, so
Yeah,
it's not even a performative thing. He's not doing
exactly.
it for PR to, to show
Yep.
off. He just happens to, get on the elevator at the same time, and he does something good for one of his employees because he can.
Yep, exactly. And that's it at the end because he can. So back to your point on how you'd said of the stuff that likes to make the rounds that people like to say, well, if Bruce Wayne actually helped, blah blah blah. Exhibit A, Gotham Knights number 32. You don't even have to read the whole thing. Just read half of it and you'll see it. Like he's
Read
been
page
there doing that.
6. It's page 6 is the one we're
Yeah.
talking about right now.
Read page 6. Read Batman Noel and what Bruce Wayne does for a guy that was, going down the wrong path. Like, look at it's everywhere. So that's a total nonsense, crap point of view to have because there's evidence everywhere. Anyways, moving on. Don't need to waste any more time on that. How'd you like checking in on Bloodhaven?
Yeah, I kind of forgot. Like I remembered that Dick was a cop for a while.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean I couldn't remember how long it was or when it happened and everything. But no, it's a nice little scene. It's um I can't remember what does he Bruce donates some bulletproof
Vests.
vests and some
Yep.
armor and everything.
How
Um
many? It looks like enough for everyone.
yeah, yeah.
Great.
Well, and then Dick kind of, ends with, I think he'll want us to be safe. And it's like, I'm sure some of it is because, Dick is part of
Yeah.
the force. So he was doing it, for him. But, it's again, just using his money to, try and make things better.
Yep, exactly. That's in a sense all that it was. It's just why is his attention on Bloodhaven because he knows Dick Grayson who works and lives in Bloodhaven. So um that's a fun, nice way just, going across county lines into the one next door and providing some safety for them. The statue that I'd mentioned, and this is where the nod is. I know, let's see. They told us that this was a quote, no man's land, but we know the truth. No man's land was and always will be our land. That's what led me of like, so this is following no man's land because it's um doing that, giving the statue it's referencing. So that's where I led in case anybody's still wondering and if that's the path that you went as well. Technically, this is after no man's land. There's just a massive event in between the two.
Yes.
That's all. That's
in the
all. It's okay.
in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
things,
In the
it
grand
does
scheme,
take place afterward.
this is post No Man's Land in Robinson Park, by the way.
Very nice. Jerry.
And then, next page, even Sheldon Park, uh, which is the golf course with I find this kind of funny of how he, this guy that's gonna build a Star Cups coffee shop around every block and he wants to, pad his pockets. Bruce kind of works his little magic to have the guy think differently. He preys on the guy's ego and went to in order to do a more positive thing, community type thing. and hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I don't know if it would quite be considered something like reverse psychology, but that is, that kind of, making that guy think that it's his own idea
Yes.
to do something good rather than open up another coffee shop next to the Big Belly Burger and soda cola stands and
Yeah.
everything.
So I'd argue that this is maybe the most uh goof Bruce Wayne, not as smart as everybody thinks he is, Bruce Wayne performance that we get in this issue completely. Because he's not good at golf. We all know Bruce Wayne would be good at golf if he wanted to
Yeah,
be. And then he does this, type of reverse psychology to on this guy as well to get what he wants. And like you said, this guy, off page is telling everybody, I have this great idea. What I'm gonna do
yeah,
and all that. And
because
Bruce won't
Bruce
be
knows
mentioned.
he's not going to give him any credit whatsoever.
No, not at all. But that's all right because in the end, it's for the greater good. He has dinner with the Fox family, and I did giggle at the kids, and the daughter comes in, and they're saying, Bruce, can you stay for dinner, please? And the daughter says, you can help me set the table and everything. And then, well, who am I to say no to an invitation like that? Yeah, it's the funnest part of dinner, setting the table. Page 12, Jay. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
first panel, we got that battering being thrown. This is an awesome issue, or an awesome page. One bubble, ugh, only dialogue thrown. We get the Batman we enjoy, and I went back on my second reading, or like a second read look at the page to really follow along with oh, what's happened in this silent comic, quote unquote, of him stopping a purse snatching, and the robber's knocked out in the middle of the street about to get hit by a bus, and then Batman comes in and still is the hero and saves the person and saves the criminal. And it's like, gosh, that's freaking Batman.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's great. What a
He
great
wants to,
page.
he wants to stop the crime, but he also wants the purse snatcher to, have a chance at life, have a second
Yeah.
chance or a third chance or a fifth chance, whatever it is.
Yeah. He he waited for that robber to wake up, and then he said, "You can do better, Bobby." I don't know. I don't know whatever's name. Bobby, Marcus, John, Peter, Peter. You can do better, Peter. Come on. I really like that page because it is I don't want to be so repetitive and keep saying just that's Batman. But this is a great page of that. Yeah, that's Batman. Nothing said. It's all actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
what
it's
he
a
does that defines him.
this issue spends a lot of time, telling us a lot of the good things that Bruce does to
Yeah.
help Gotham. This shows us some of the good
Yeah, there you
that
go.
Batman does.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great observation is the dialogue heaviness on the Bruce Wayne part and then the lack of dialogue for the Batman half. And it's like that's also how it should be. I don't need a talkative Batman. He I don't know, he shows by action. We get then some criminals that once they figure out that this is Gotham, they're like, nah man, Batman works in Gotham, I'm out. So again, the ruling by fear and intimidation, that's present. That's another aspect of Batman that we've all even the uninitiated are now initiated, and they know that that's a piece of Batman.
Yeah. It's like at the beginning of the Dark Knight when the guys are like, oh man, no, he might be
Yeah,
out there. That's his even if Batman's not on the page, his presence is still felt.
exactly. Yep. You have a better chance of winning the Powerball than running into him. uh let's see, the Boy Wonder makes a nice little appearance here. Well, Tim Drake, and I don't see anybody who could be against the idea of Robin taking down some Nazis.
Ryan,
Jay?
let me tell you,
If you say that you want to
No, no,
give a
no,
little bit of
don't.
leeway to these Nazis, Jay, we
No, no,
gotta
no, no,
cut
no,
this
no, no, no,
episode
no.
short.
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
Ever, ever, ever.
Ever.
Not at all. I'm going to tell you that
Yeah.
this page is why I bought this comic book.
Okay, tell me more.
So I found out about it on, maybe Twitter or something. Someone was
Yeah.
sharing something. I was like, huh, there's a comic where Robin beats up a bunch of Nazis. That is amazing and quite possibly could be the greatest comic ever written, if so. I've been I've said before, I have, the full run of Tim Drake, solo comics.
Yeah.
I even have a box of what I call the Tim Drake notables, that have things like, his first appearance, and
Sure.
I've got like Batman Year 3, I have A Lonely Place of Dying. I have I can't remember the issue. I think it's Batman, maybe like 256 or something, or not 256. It's the one with Batman and Robin on the cover, with the spotlight on them. Fantastic Brayfogle cover.
465.
465. Yes, I knew there was a 6 and a 5 in there.
6 is good.
Yes. I have that one in there because that's Tim's first night out, on his own.
Great issue.
So I've been, trying to, now that I have the complete series, our job collecting is never
It's
ever
never complete.
So I'm always on the look for something else that I can, add to the collection. When I found out about this, I knew I had to get it because you know what? I need to add this as a notable issue to my comic collection for Tim Drake notable issues because that is an amazing page. I love everything about it. I mean, I don't love the Nazis and everything, but I do love what happens to the Nazis.
Yep.
So, kind of showing my hand a little bit. This is my favorite part of the issue right here.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to press you on it at the end in some questions too. Okay. And then we can bring it back up if need be. You might change your mind. I don't know. I just dig it because I just feel, I don't know. There's just no defense. And so it's just like, I don't know when it even became an arguable point. And I just think like these are pieces of shit. Knock them out. And then the great exclamation is to spray paint losers across them as they're knocked out on the ground. Hell yeah. Like,
I am
great.
not a violent person.
I sense that about you.
I believe, in love and grace and everything. But if I see someone punching a Nazi, no, I didn't. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. No,
I'd be like, can I buy you a beer?
Yes.
I'm also not a violent person, Yaws. And I think I stand with you. So without spending more time on this, I think this is a great page just because it's just Batman's just, you see in that last panel, he's overlooking this and he smiles because it's just like, man, Robin's out here doing his thing and he's doing just fine on his own too.
And
so it's a proud papa.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Can't get much more proud than seeing your son, beat up some skinheads.
Yep.
What I also like about it for Tim is, he's often, seen as like the milquetoast, boring Robin, and everything. But no, I mean,
it's nonsense.
I mean, here it is complete nonsense, but here, he is visibly angry at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And isn't just stopping them because they're tagging and graffitiing, the like the side of a wall. He's angry that they are defacing a synagogue with hate speech.
Yeah.
And I just finished up reading all of Young Justice, the the 98 Young Justice. There's a couple of points in there where Tim throws hands with some white supremacists and Nazis as well. So it's like, we want to rebrand Tim Drake as the Robin who punches Nazis. I'd be more than okay with that.
All right. Just, like that could be like a follow-up. The team behind, Superman fights the KKK.
Superman smashes the Klan. Yeah.
Yeah. Just say Tim Drake smashes the Nazis.
Yeah,
Tell me people won't buy that book.
that would be amazing. And
Yeah.
I don't understand why in some circles it's controversial to say that you like seeing
I don't
Nazis
either.
get punched.
I don't either. We'll keep moving it along.
Okay,
The
moving. Yeah.
let's see. Moving on, because we'll be back to this page.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
Totally.
Montoya and is it Allen are under
Yeah.
heavy fire, under heavy
Crispus was it
siege.
Crispus Allen?
Yes.
Yes.
And again, no words spoken. Montoya all of a sudden scrack, obviously, the sound of,
Huh.
a gas grenade or whatever,
Not that
scrack.
can.
Oh no. And she says, cancel that dispatch, we're fine. And you look up and Batman's overseeing. Batman helps him. He just jumps in and helps. Doesn't take over. He stays in the shadows, gets the job done. Another excellent checking in with GCPD, assist them when they need it, and then they're good. He can move on. Ah, wonderful. Wonderful page. Let's see. This is an hour and 6 minutes later. Arkham Asylum for the criminally insane. We got old Two-Face in a cell, and we see a chessboard set up, and a chess match is going underway, and Batman shows up. And we get it's a daily thing. He comes in and somebody makes their move, and he comes and plays chess with Two-Face. Now, how do you feel about this issue or about this page?
I mean, it's kind of funny that Batman pops by to do one move and then nopes out until the next night.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's also, it goes back to that, rehabilitation thing. It's like he feels like, even the worst criminals, again, not sure why it's a controversial stance, why he doesn't kill his criminals is because he believes that they can be reformed. And he Harvey was his friend before he became Two-Face, so there's some of that personal connection there too. But even just playing a nightly game of chess with him, he's still connecting with him on like a human level. He's still treating him with some modicum of respect there.
So, if this was the Joker, I don't think it'd work as well because the Joker's just known to have done horrific things
Mhm.
in two innocent people.
Yes.
Two-Face, it's like, I mean, especially at this point, people have been aware with the Long Halloween and Dark Victory, in which killing is not good, period. Some would argue, though, of like, he took out bad guys, though. So, yes, not good, but he didn't take out innocents.
The
So, it's
ends
not
justify the
as bad.
means kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an argument in which it's like, now that's an interesting discussion. Um, but I want to reiterate, I don't support killing. uh, but it's like Two-Face, there's at least room for that discussion. And there's some
Yes.
others where it's just like, no, this is just a bad dude. But I know that there are stories too where innocents did get caught up in the crossfire with Two-Face and innocents were hurt. So therefore, like, some could read this and like I was saying earlier too, of like comments are like, no, these are people bringing real thought and discussion of like, I don't think that Batman should be sitting there and playing games and smirking with somebody that's in Arkham like this. And I think that's a valid discussion to have, but like my mind in reading, like when I get to this page, is like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no,
It's a comic book also, I totally understand.
no. Right.
But like
Yeah.
putting it under the microscope, it's like I think that's why, because it is, it is Two-Face. And uh, he's got a history with Harvey Dent. And that's why I think I can be like, that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's
And to
okay.
your point about the Joker, it wouldn't work. You're right. And I think a lot of that is because, Bruce knows he can't reach the Joker
Yeah.
on a personal level. He can't, not that he shouldn't treat him like a human, but you know what I mean. There isn't the humanity in Joker's actions that there's anything there for Batman to appeal to. He still
Exactly.
believes, because he has to believe, that even the Joker could, turn from his ways. He doesn't know how to get him to do that, though. Where
Yeah.
Harvey, Bruce has the personal connection and knows how to connect with him and interact with him as a human being, and not as, a hero versus a villain.
Hmm. Yep. Exactly. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Let's see here. 24 minutes later in Otisburg,
Otis Berg.
good old Otisburg. Police officer comes home and his wife's awake and he's like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "You want to go for a walk?" She's like, "Now, isn't it a little dangerous? Because it's 12:19 a.m." Are you kidding? Word on the street is that Batman makes a southeast sweep from the hill to Robbinsville sometime around 12. Even if it's not true, Otisburg, Newtown, Burnley, they're all dead zones crime-wise between 11 and 3. And they go for a walk after midnight. People, why? Batman's not there at all, but the presence is felt. He
But
is
he
being
might
effective.
be there.
He might be there. And that's enough for criminals, as we see earlier. Just the mention of, no, this is Batman's turf. I'm out. So just like what he's doing is working. Like that's what I see, more support of with this page is like what he's doing is working. He's not in any of these 5 panels, but his presence is felt, and it is it's a full moon. So it's a full moon even. The freaks are out on a full moon, and people like a man and his pregnant wife go for a nice little walk. Great.
I love it because, criminals fear him because they're
Hmm.
criminals. People don't, because they know he's doing good.
Yep.
That's why I'm
It's
not a big
Batman.
fan. That's why I'm not a big fan of, jerk Batman, trying to be, scared of everyone, try to intimidate everyone. Kids shouldn't be afraid of Batman, because, they know that he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And Batman 100% is a good guy. So
Hmm.
even adults who might, have more insight into, okay, well, it's not just this is a cool superhero doing things, but they have more knowledge of the things that he's doing to be able to say, even though he might look frightening, he's only frightening to the people who need to be scared of him.
Yeah.
We have
Yep.
no reason to be scared of him.
Yep. Exactly. Um,
Like the guy on the next page.
he does on old Spring Bridge. Yeah, so this is pure Batman through the eyes of a criminal. This is how Batman is seen to the criminals. This is how the criminals, superstitious and cowardly lot, see him, and he just gets this dude to just spill the beans. This guy is a Flask, and Batman Begins like Flask,
Yeah.
Flask,
Yeah.
Flask. I'm glad that this one page was also included because it's like we're seeing every side of Batman, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the sides of Batman. So I think that yeah, if we're gonna go all in, we should see this side for sure. And this is just a great example of what he does to the criminals. In addition to, so this guy's gotta like more so because I know earlier I just backed up or you can do better, Mickey, to the guy in the accounting firm. So this guy is into a lot more like heavier stuff than apparently than Mickey was. Mickey was robbing something. I created a whole backstory for him. He was robbing because he was low on money, and all that. Um, and Batman knew that about him and guided him in the right direction. Gave him a little pep talk on what he needed. And this guy is just like, this guy's a bad dude and he will snitch on everybody. If you just push him far enough, pushes him right off the bridge to where if I let go,
Yeah.
oh buddy, you're done. Oh, moving along here, shall we? Because we're just checking page by page now. The next hour checks in the tower with old Oracle. Checking in. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing good, and he adds it. He almost does a little bit more emotive asking of like how's Jim, and that's very touching to Barbara.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Oracle's Barbara, people, sorry, spoiler
Yes.
alert.
Yes. Barbara Gordon.
She's, dad's good, thanks for asking. It's like, oh my gosh, they're still best friends. Uh, let's see. And then now, like, then we just zoom through the remainder of the night where he's just overseeing Gotham, and Gotham is operating um, completely fine. Um, it is kind of funny to me though. We see the 24/7 financial district, so like their take of 7-Eleven. Outside of the diner is a woman of the night, I'd think, but Batman's just like, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody's going in to have, late night cheeseburger and maybe they're gonna have company after that. I don't know, but he just lets it happen. Okay, sure. But then it's the newspaper people, trash pickup. Somebody's getting ready to open up a store, and then he's just, he's on his way home. No
Good
words
night.
are said.
Good night. Good night for Batman.
Yeah, good night and
Slow
good luck.
night.
And then he's at Wayne Manor where he's heading up to bed, and he's greeted by Alfred. Bookending perfectly on how the issue basically opened with him and Alfred in the kitchen, then ending with him getting ready to go to bed, and Alfred's like, good morning, sir. My pleasure, Master Bruce. And thank you. My pleasure, Master Bruce. And then lastly of he apparently made a pit stop outside at the tombstone of the Wayne family. Do you like that ending?
I
Last
do like
page
it.
is just big sun coming up over the Wayne name.
I do like it. I like that it's we've seen why all through the issue we see why or what Bruce does, what Batman does. This is, a nice way to cap it off to say this is why he does it,
Hmm.
is because, of his parents. He does it to, honor them, and rather than avenge them in a way that would bring more darkness, more despair upon himself, drive him down a road of destruction. He honors their memory by
Hmm.
we mentioned with Batman Begins earlier. We
Yeah.
the opposite of that, it's he honors the Wayne name by keeping the Wayne name good and pure almost. So yeah, I do like it.
Yep. For reasons that you said too, of like for the Wayne name, I think just in that for me is how I get this, and it's just a great, at the end, paying respects because those are fresh flowers. So to me, it's like, oh, definitely that Batmobile's, well, not Batmobile, from the Batmobile until he sees Alfred, he made a pit stop here. Um, and yeah, that's always just like that's a good little moment. But in the end, it encompasses the whole thing, like in the Wayne name, this whole 24 hours of goodness. Classic Bruce Wayne. I'm getting all choked up. Ooh. Jay, is there anything that we left out that you wanted to address a little bit more before I get to some questions?
I mean, I do want to address
Do it.
part of the creative team.
Okay.
You know, Devin Grayson, I have a complex and
Ooh.
conflicted history with.
Do tell. Gossip Central with Jay.
Well, no, I mean she was the writer on Nightwing. I think she took over after Chuck Dixon left. I think unless I'm just completely blanking, she took over from Dixon. And it is kind of notorious how not great her run on Nightwing is.
Mhm.
Just some of the things that she did were, very tone deaf. Do you know the issue where Dick is sexually assaulted by a villain while they're on top of a roof?
Nope.
Oh, you're not familiar with that.
I'm
Um,
not.
so Blockbuster, are you familiar with Blockbuster? He's kind of
Yes.
he's Kingpin. Um, she kills Blockbuster, and Dick, I think, is just like exhausted, but then goes into such a state of shock after that she actually did it, and just doesn't know, like can't really formulate, like words and thoughts and everything. Like he's like I said, he's in a state of shock. So the
Huh.
tarantula was the villain who killed Blockbuster, they go up to a roof and she, rapes him.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And it was
Huh.
very,
Whoa.
yeah, it was. And then, some other things that the writer has said about it, trying to even brush it off or say, oh, well, it wasn't that or whatever. It just made a whole big mess of things. Like it really came down to, it was just something that wasn't done for anything but shock value.
Well, I'm
Um,
not. No matter what that entails, doing it just for the shock is never uh the a top five reason to do something.
no. So I did not like her, run on Nightwing.
Gotcha.
I do love one story that she wrote for I can't remember, it was a like a Nightwing 80-page giant or something like that, but it's just a story between Dick and Barbara, and they're talking about like their first crushes and everything.
Would it be annual number one? I've got the
Was
page
it?
up right now. I'm just like uh flipping through here to look. There's a Robin 80th anniversary number one.
I don't remember
Uh,
exactly what it is, but
and then
effectively,
just
it's just
Nightwing
Dick,
annual number one.
yeah, Dick and Barbara are discussing, just cutesy, little
Mm-hmm.
banter and everything. But he, pretty much acknowledges that he's, been in love with her and everything, and she, loves him too and everything. And but it's not like them confessing their love. It's just them having a sweet, cute little conversation. I really like that, just because, it's nice seeing comic characters interacting as people with feelings and you know especially those that have long complex histories with each other. It's nice to see them relate to each other as people and not just people who go out and fight crime.
Yeah.
So like that. So when I found out it was Devin Grayson that wrote this, I was not quite sure what to feel about it, just because of those very complex, almost you know whiplash of loving one thing but hating a bunch of other stuff that she's written. But no, I like the writing for this. I think it's a very good, a little wordy but still very well written, has the characters down pretty well. I like, I don't mean it in a patronizing way, but I think she
Mm-hmm.
did a great job with the task that she set out with here. And it's written about as well as you'd think it could be.
Yeah. So pulling up on Wikipedia to look up just as you were saying all that, I'm looking at some of these things, Batman 80-page giant number one. I'm like, I think I've read that, but I'm blanking on it. Batman Joker Switch. I've had that for, yeah, like right when it came out. I don't remember anything about it. I've got it in a long box. Wrote some Legends of the Dark Knight, but it was like a tie-in to No Man's Land and then a story called Lost.
I think she was the main writer on Gotham Knights too, like
And I was just gonna say that, but
from the beginning.
the big one I think is coming to directly Batman is like, yeah, Batman Gotham Knights issue 1 through 11, 14 through 18, 20 through 32. So this is her last issue on Gotham
Yeah.
Knights. And I haven't read every issue, but I think like the first 20, yeah. So up to this point, I mean like the first 24 issues, I think, and then this one. And then there's something else too. So I mean, I still have a nice chunk to read, but yeah, interesting. Okay.
I'm pretty sure shortly after this, Lieber Mayo started doing covers for this series. So
Yeah, buddy. Early Libra Mayo. Early Libra
yes.
Mayo. All right. So hey, are you ready for some questions?
Yes, you've got a question?
I am ready for some questions, just like that one. That was a question.
Hey, it was. Jay, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part, Ryan,
Yeah.
was Tim Drake beating up
Oh.
a bunch of Nazis. I'm not even going to be coy about it. That just is a fantastic, just the way it's laid out, the action on the page, um the the way that it is illustrated is great,
Yeah.
but the meaning behind it is, just so much better. It's like, there's up to this point we've seen, Bruce working with people who, are trying to get rehabilitated, people who are trying to just make their way, in life. But, there's also people that, you want to say maybe someday, hopefully down the line, they can, repent of this and, turn from,
Yeah.
this sickening behavior and these sickening beliefs. But some point, sometimes people just can't be reasoned with.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm not a violent person. And I'm not even saying the violence is right for anything. But in a situation like this, at least in a fantasy like we're reading right here, it's very cathartic and nice.
Yeah.
And seeing some Nazi punks getting their, blocks knocked off.
Uh, great page, great part. In a book full of a lot of great pages with great parts. Uh, I really do dig the elevator moments, but I really think my favorite part is page 12. When Batman first shows up at night and does the batarang to the purse snatcher and then dips down to save him so the guy doesn't get run over.
Yeah.
I dig that. That's our hero, Batman. Jay, what's your favorite panel of 24/7?
Whew.
Oof, indeed.
I'm trying
I bring the tough questions here.
I mean,
Batman Book Club.
just because it's kind of, the culmination of that entire page. The very bottom panel on page 14 where, Tim had spray painted losers over
Yeah.
the unconscious Nazis, and Bruce just looks proud.
Yeah.
Not even in a haha, take that, Nazis, proud, but, seeing that on a deeper level, Tim, after, all the failure of, Jason and, Bruce's hesitation to bring Tim on as a partner, seeing moments like this where he, even without saying it, he knows that, Tim is capable and Bruce made the right choice in having faith that Tim would be capable and could excel, to maybe make up for some of the, shortcomings and failures that he had in trying to, make Jason a viable, sidekick and partner.
Excellent. Page 20. First panel up top. Batman overlooking, I mean, a gargoyle, but it's, it's almost like a pointed ledge on a corner of a building or whatever. He's just overlooking everything. Yep. Gimme, 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 gimme. In front of the full moon, purple sky, kind of looks and makes me think a little bit the Batman cartoon series. Uh, I dig it. I dig that one. That was a going through no brainer. That's the one.
That's a great. I'm usually not even big on, the shorter ears, but I really like the way that what was the artist, Roger Robinson. I like how he draws them. They're very,
Yeah.
we've brought it up a couple of times. They're very Beataz-ish. Just
Yeah.
the way they kind of swoop back a little bit.
I can't say that. It just depends on the look. Because I can dig the long ones that Sale does, that Kelly Jones does, but then I could sit here and dig the short ones here and short ones of like Frank Miller did in Dark Knight Returns. Like I don't know, it just depends on the look. Because then there's also long ones I don't care for as much, and short ones I don't care for as much. So totally. But you more so favor the longer ears?
Not super long, like
Yeah.
Kelly Jones,
Yeah.
even Sale. Those work for their style, but I like maybe medium length. Like if we're talking like, put it in like a live action perspective. I
Yeah.
like the Kilmer, bat
Sure.
suit, that
Yeah.
length. that looks good. It's not too long, but also not, short little nubs
Little stubs. Yeah,
like
nubs.
like like Batflex was.
Nubs and stubs.
Yeah.
Um, would you like to see this adapted in animation?
Yeah, this would be for any sort of Batman series. It would make a really good, very easy animated episode to do. Just
Yep.
one of those ones that would probably be a fan favorite, just because again, you can just point to it and be like, hey, watch this without having to worry about
Yeah.
everything around it, watching the whole series, catch up with it. And probably one of those ones that would get nominated for some awards just because of the nature of how the episode was presented. So I'd totally be down for that.
I think this could inspire an episode from any Batman series. I don't
Mhm.
see a take as crazy as as extreme and total 180s that some are from, I mean, Adventures of Batman up to, or even, I guess, was it The Adventures of Batman and Robin, the one with that terrible Batmite? That's probably the most like, what? All the way to Cape Crusader. You could do something like this of just 24 hours in the life of Bruce Wayne. You can do it, and it could
Yeah,
fit any of,
absolutely.
because Batman's the most malleable. So therefore he has the animated series to prove that. And this is just, what are the best qualities of Bruce Wayne and Batman? Let's do 20 minutes about that in a
Yeah.
cartoon. Okay. Yes, please. And you know what would fit in every single one? Punching out a Nazi.
Heck yes.
That's the whole episode. Bruce Wayne sees one, walks up, knocks him out. Batman at night knocks him out. Then Robin stands there, waits for him to wake up, and knocks him out, and then spray paints their face.
Like I said, get nominated
Anyways,
for all of the awards.
and win. Do you have any final thoughts here, JLs, before we wrap up on
No,
24/7?
it's good. Like I said, I covered it when I did my random Robin posts on Comic Pause.
Yeah,
I kind of gave that up when I actually went through and read that entire long box, because it at that
it's a
point
lot
it's
of
like,
work.
well, yeah, well, it's a lot of work, and it's like, well, I was doing that just for fun, to read issues that I'd never read before, or even
Yeah.
read issues that I had read before in a different context.
Hmm.
But when I just went through and read Robin Volume 1, Number 1, all the way up to um, the Robin 80th anniversary issue from a few years back that had
Hmm.
the I think it was the Adam Beechin and Freddie Williams short in it, and everything in between. It's like, okay, I don't need to write about this anymore because
Yeah.
I've covered the whole thing now.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm glad I discovered it on a whim. Um, it's a good story just by itself. It has some great Bruce Wayne moments, some great Batman moments. Like I said, it's a good thesis statement on
Yeah.
the good he does for the city, and then you know going into like we were talking a few minutes ago about why he's proud of Tim.
Hmm.
It's a good issue to give to people who don't know a lot about Batman or haven't read a lot of Batman, to say, hey, here you go. This is Batman right here. But then, for people like us who have, read more, know more about the characters, know more about their histories,
Hmm.
we know the significance of him being proud of Tim in that moment, or the significance of him actually opening up and being personal and vulnerable with Barbara, asking how her
Yeah.
dad is and why that takes her off guard. It's there's a lot of layers and depth here, for any reader, no matter how much, they come into this knowing about Batman or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a cop out of like, oh, copy and paste what Jay said, but I just kind of think it. I don't know. I already said it earlier. I think, and I don't have too much more to add. If it's just anybody can pick this up, get kind of the same thing out of it, and it's a great example of um, Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's a good issue. Just a really good, solid issue. Um, that is status quo Batman. Just is.
And apparently one of the greatest stories ever told.
One of the greatest. One of the
Back in
greatest.
2005.
Yeah. Thank you. I was like, yeah. Oh yeah. Duh. One of the greatest.
That.
Yaws, I'm sorry that it has been 9 months since you've been on the show, but thanks for coming back and picking a good one for me to dust off and revisit. I'll remember now what is inside the pages of this.
See, think
this great
about it.
cover.
You know, you got the clock on the cover. The
Uh-huh.
story is about time in a day.
What? Oh my gosh, the clock king's all behind it.
You know, that's a missed opportunity. Terrible issue. I hate this. Delete the episode.
That's true. Let's come back on issue 247 or episode 247 say why this issue does not work.
Yes. No clock
Yeah.
king. Shortest
Everything we
episode
said.
ever.
Everything we said 2 episodes ago was crap. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming back. You'll be coming back again early next year as it's planned. And until then, where can people follow you or talk with you or whatever you want?
I mean, I'm on, Facebook groups, and, I'm on, Twitter, X, whatever, Blue
Mhm.
Sky, which I check every now and then, but don't really use. Instagram. I've been, playing a lot of music. I'm in a band, so that's pretty cool. And
Pretty cool.
so yeah, I mean, you know where to find me, and if you don't, I mean, you can ask Ryan, and he can
I'll guide you to the light of yours.
dox me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. As for Batman Book Club, follow on the social stuff at the Batman BC for latest episode drops, upcoming episodes, and sometimes some giveaways. I think there'll be another one before this year's up. So go there, follow that, and you'll see. Make sure to subscribe to the Batman Book Club YouTube channel. Pete and I are going to be back on that with some No Man's Land business. If you want
The
to support
prequel
the
to
show.
this issue.
Yeah, the prequel to Gotham Knights number 32, No Man's Land. It'll all fit together in about
It's
9
all
months
come to this.
when Pete and I finish volume 1 of the omnibus, and then realize, oh, we've got a second omnibus.
Yeah.
We got it all sitting there waiting for us. If you want to support the show, a variety of ways you can do that. Like I said at the top, patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Go to tpublic.com and type in TBBC for the Batman Book Club. But if you want to support the show, you don't want to spend any money at all. That's 100% A-OK. Easiest, quickest, and most impactful thing you can do to help this show right here, yes, you can do it, is just rate and review the show. So however you listen to your show, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, go to the rate and review page, rate and review the show, because the more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as you, me, and definitely Jay Yaws knows, that word is panic. 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 So, for panic, I'm panicking. For Jay Yaws, I am Ryan Lauer. Until next time, read my Batman.